Hello and welcome to United Pulse. I didn't wanted to make videos for a couple of games now because things at United were not really planning out the way that I wanted, and I felt like the whole situation, the way the team was performing on and off the field, there were so many things going on. Every single match we were discussing about changing the manager, the team is not performing, this is wrong, that is wrong. There was so much negativity in whole of the social media throughout the game, before the game. It was as if like before we even went to play on the pitch, we were thinking that we are going to lose, and it was a really dark side of United, I would say. I would say, like, since I've been a United fan, I haven't felt this dark throughout my being a fan of United. And people will have a lot of different opinions about Ten Hag. Some people they like him. They are saying that we should have given him more time. Some people like him but say that, like, okay, enough is enough. And some people didn't like him the day when he arrived at United as well. So they didn't even give him a chance. Regardless of whatever the situation is, regardless of how you feel about Ten Hag, regardless of how I feel about Ten Hag, one of the things that I wanted to talk about right now is the situation in which Ten Hag has left United now. The condition of the team, the level of the team that United have left. The level of the team that Ten Hag has left for United now. And that is something that I feel is really important when choosing a new manager. Of course, we have like a few names thrown in the pipeline. We have Zabi has been recommended as well. Since I think 1.5 season, we've been looking at managers. We've looked at Potter, we have looked at Emery, we have looked at so many options that we have discussed over social media. But whoever is going to be the next manager, I feel like one thing is for sure. He is going to be inheriting a team which is mid-table at best. And this is my personal opinion. Of course, maybe there are a lot of people who could disagree with it, but here's how I see it. Okay, so I was comparing the team that since Sir Alex Ferguson left, how the teams have evolved. What are the players which came into United? And one of the important aspects of any recruitment is the level of the club that you are in, and then what are you expecting the club to reach, the pedigree of the club, the standard of the coaches, the standard of the club, the fan base. There's so many aspects that you need to see. But when deciding that, like, okay, now since Sir Alex Ferguson left, the first manager that we had was David Moyes. He only served 1 year. But look at the team that he inherited and some of the players that he got. So during David Moyes' era, we had David De Gea, Rooney, Di Maria, Falcao, Carrick, Van Persie, Herrera, Fletcher, Victor Valdez, maybe Shinji Kagawa as well. These are the names that I'm saying which can easily go into any, I would say, like top 6 to 10 teams in Europe easily at that time. Not now, of course, but at that time in 2014, any of these players would go into top 10 teams in Europe without hesitation. Taha was young prodigy. Maybe you can call him that, like maybe he wasn't given enough time, but he had the pedigree of going into top teams in Europe as well. But I'm not going to count him at the moment, just for the sake of argument, right? So we're talking about at least 8 to 10 players which can play for top 10 teams in Europe easily in 2014. Then we had LVG. He also had David De Gea. He had Rooney. Depay came. He bought Depay. He had Mata, Carrick, Herrera. Martial was the young prodigy. And imagine a young player that we bought and we wrote in his contract for Ballon d'Or. So he had potential to be one of the best players. And almost like I remember at that time 5 or 6 big clubs in Europe, even Real Madrid were after him. And we poached him. Hernandez, he played for Real Madrid also, so he had pedigree of going to top teams as well. Romero, he was a great backup goalkeeper for David De Gea. Bastian Schweinsteiger, he was a Champions League winner. So these players, all of them, they had the pedigree of going to the top 10 teams. Okay, maybe if you want to remove Bastian Schweinsteiger because of his age, you can, but he's still played for Bayern Munich and he was a Champions League winner. So I would still consider him a top player. And then LVG bought Zlatan, Pogba, Mkhitaryan, and Bailey. At that time, all four of them were top players. Zlatan has been successful at United even at that age. Pogba, maybe you can say his time at United at the second time was up and down, but still on his day, he was unplayable. Mkhitaryan, when we bought him, he was one of the best wingers of the time. Bailey, there was so much competition from top clubs in Europe for Bailey, and we got him. And then Jose came, and Jose bought Lukaku, Matic, Alexis Sanchez, Dalot, and Fred. All of them were top class players. Real Madrid wanted Dalot. Yes, right now we are saying that, he's an average player, but Real Madrid wanted Dalot at that time. Whether it was a backup option or whatever, but when a top club like Real Madrid wants a player, they're not expecting that player to sit on the bench all the time. Even a rotational player, they expect him to fight for his place. Fred, at that time, he was a great player, and I personally believe Dalot and Fred both were good for United, but maybe the team itself was not performing, so we couldn't benefit from both of them the way that we wanted. Dalot is still one of the best players that United have right now. Yes, he has made a lot of mistakes, and I personally think that maybe it is the way that we use him. Personally, I don't consider him a right back, maybe a right wing back, maybe, but he's not a defensive type of a player. So if you don't have center backs who can follow through, or you don't have a right winger who can assist him in defensive duties as well, then it becomes a problem. And we've been using him on left side a lot of the times because we don't have a left back. So there are a lot of reasons we can give for Dalot not being the Dalot that he could be at Real Madrid maybe. And then Ole Gunnar Solskjær came in. He brought in Harry Maguire, which Jose Mourinho wanted. We got Bruno Fernandes, who is one of the best players that we have right now, even with the inconsistencies. He brought in Aaron Wan-Bissaka. That was his first year. And then in the second year, he bought Donny van de Beek, Thales, Cavani. All 6 of these players were playing or were capable of playing for the top teams in Europe, right? And these are the players that I'm counting which Ole Gunnar Solskjær actually brought in. And on his third season, when he was sacked, he brought in Sancho, Varane, and Ronaldo. So all of these players, they were at a level that they can play at the top teams in Europe. And then Ralf Rangnick came in. I don't want to count him because he was never given a chance. He never had a single signing under him, like a proper signing. So I'm not going to count him. And then Erik Ten Hag comes in. When Erik Ten Hag comes in, we had Malacia, Eriksen, Martinez, Casemiro, and Anthony. Look at the level that we have dropped. Malacia was never brought in to become a first-team player. Eriksen, he was out of contract. He was relatively old. He had heart issues. So he was somebody that we never expected to play in and day out. I can count in Martinez, but Martinez never had a single season in top 10 clubs in Europe. But he had shown that he's capable of it. Then we had Casemiro. He was somebody that we expected a lot from, and we still do, because he was a serial winner. He's the kind of a player on his prime we should be getting, probably when he was 26, 27. That was the age. If we would have gotten him, we would have made such a better use of him. He would be such an asset to us. Even now, at this age, I would say he's still okay, but I personally think the problem comes in with the price tag. When you're paying almost 80 million quid on a player of that age who is close to ending his career, that puts a lot of negativity in the purchase. And then, especially when the club is not performing well. And then you had Anthony. There was a lot of negativity as soon as we got him, because we could have gotten him for half the price or even less a few months before we bought him. And then we delayed. And then the problem came. And then we had to purchase him for the price, which was overwhelming. And regardless of whatever the reason, you didn't see any top teams in Europe going after Anthony. You didn't see any top teams going after Malacia. You didn't see any top teams going after Martinez even. even though I personally feel Martinez is a really good player and he could be a very good player for us in the future as well, but no top teams in Europe wanted to go for him. And that's a big sign for us to think that what is happening at United. How are we selecting the players that we want to buy for the prices that we are paying? Then we had Mount. I would consider, like, on a good day, he's a really good player. And maybe some people are saying maybe we paid too much for him, considering that we knew that there is some injury issues with him, maybe. But that's a decision that I feel like it's individualistic decision. You can make a decision for yourself on whether you feel like it was a good decision to pay that much money for a person who we feel could be injury prone. If he does recover and he does start showing form, maybe he could be the player that we want or we need. Who knows? At the moment, it's still on doubt. Evans, he was not a top class player when we had him in the first time. He was a decent backup, a center back, but he was not the kind of a player that you will see top European clubs running after. Onana, he was playing for a top club in Europe, so I will still count him as a decent buy. But I feel like there were a lot of question marks before we even bought him because of the attitude and off the pitch, on the pitch issues that a lot of clubs had already seen. In terms of capabilities, yes, he has shown capabilities even at United. Some of the games that he has played were really good. But this is the time when people are definitely comparing Onana with David De Gea. Even David De Gea made a lot of mistakes, but he has been player of the year every single year for United. So it marks the question, did we really made a wise choice going after Onana when we had David De Gea? Maybe the style of play that we wanted to play, so that's why we got Onana. Fine, but we had a lot of other issues, and that's what everybody was saying. But regardless of all the issues, I will still say that since Erik Ten Hag became a coach, maybe Onana is one player which could play for top 10 teams in Europe. Højlund, he's somebody who is maybe one for the future. So he was never going to be the player who would come and become a first team player and give you results straight away. You cannot expect from a player who has never played in top teams at that level for a whole season and had enough games under his belt, have competitive games under his belt, and have shown performances top level to come at United and become the striker that you want. And then we had Altay Bayındır, who is the goalkeeper from Turkey. He has barely even played at United. So I don't even want to consider him right now. Maybe he's a good goalkeeper, maybe because he has shown in Turkey, but he's still a backup goalkeeper. And then this season, we bought Xerxes, Euro, De Ligt, Mazraoui, and Ugarte. Xerxes, he is an average at best, maybe at the moment, but he's young. So he was not the player that I would personally expect that he will come and completely change our front line. Euro, he's one for the future. Maybe he'll be the top player for United for the next 10 years, but who knows? De Ligt, Mazraoui, and Ugarte. These are the three players who could probably go into top 20 teams in Europe. I wouldn't say top 10 teams. It all bottles down to the price tag maybe. But if you consider top 10 teams in Europe, probably these three players will be on rotation. They will never be starting. That's what I personally think. But they are good enough to be in rotation for the top 10 teams in Europe, maybe. So this is where I'm coming from. The difference in the quality that all the previous coaches brought in. And the reason why I personally feel is all the other coaches, they were at a stage where they are top 4, top 5, and they're trying to build something to win the league, to win the Champions League, to win the Europa League, or something big. I don't want to count cups, league cups and all that, because nowadays, big teams like Man City, Liverpool, they play their B team or C team in league cups because they want to rotate their players, right? And that is where they can. The big trophies, the big, you can say like big league that we want, that's something a big club wants to achieve, is winning the league. It's winning the Champions League. It's winning the Europa League. That's what top 6, I would say, or top 4 is all about. And that's where United have always been. And now we are 14th. We are trying to stay in the mid-table. This team can barely even manage mid-table. I can easily say if today we get a good coach and he's given this team and we want him to just flip the switch and become like a get all of these players in form. Okay, we have Rashford who has shown performances before. Now we've even got Mainu, who is a young talent who can actually go in top teams in Europe. We've got Garnacho, who is a really good prospect, but that's about it. And I can easily say, whoever the manager comes in, if we are going to get a celebrity coach, somebody who is something like Jose Mourinho or something, or Pep, or somebody like that. I'm not saying that we will get Pep or we will get Jose Mourinho, but I'm saying somebody who is same pedigree as them. Because let's be honest, if United wants to become champions, they want to win the league, they want to win the Champions League, they want to win the Europa League, or the top cups that we are talking about, they need to get a coach who has that mentality. It is very difficult for me to comprehend that a coach who has never won a league, and I'm talking about top 4 leagues, right? I'm talking about English league, Spanish league, maybe even French league, or maybe even Bundesliga. If somebody who hasn't win in the top 4 leagues, he hasn't win the leagues, he hasn't won Champions League or Europa League, something big, then how can we expect him to come to United, bring in the same mentality, which is a winner's mentality, and build a team which is capable of winning a league? Because let's be honest, English Premier League is a very different ball game from all the other leagues. When we look at Spanish league, when we look at Bundesliga, when we look at a French league even, or Italian league, we can name a few clubs which are top clubs. It is an upset when the top teams in those leagues are not performing well, or somebody else comes in from the bottom and then suddenly gives an upset. And that is the difference between other leagues and English Premier League. Even the mid-table teams can give an upset very easily. There are teams, even if they are mid-table, even if they don't win, but they don't let you win. We have seen this a million times, and that is why we consider like going to Crystal Palace is not going to be an easy game. Crystal Palace at home is a very difficult game. West Ham at home is a very difficult game. And these teams are mid-table teams. Maybe now West Ham, with all the investment they have done, they should do better. But there's been some situations in all clubs, right? But this is the thing. These clubs in Premier League are never easy. You can expect a team from Championship to come to Premier League and give you a tough time. And that is why I'm saying the team that we have right now, the squad that we have right now, it is not capable of competing at top 6, top 7. So if we are not even capable of reaching top 6 or top 7, how are we expecting to be top 3, top 4 or win the league? Forget about winning the league. Whoever the manager comes in, he will again have to invest good amount of money, maybe another $500 million, $500 million, £500 million, €500 million, and then it's a maybe. It all depends on who the coach is, what is his style of play, what does he want to do, how he wants to come in, what is his strategy, how quickly he can transform the team, how quickly he can remove the toxicity in the squad right now. So there are so many question marks. We are talking about a coach from Sporting who has shown that he is capable of handling a good club. So let's see. For me, I personally feel the place that United is in right now is gonna take a lot of work, and I mean a lot. I would be very happy, very, very happy if by any means necessary, if we can get a coach who can transform the whole situation at United, that we by somehow reach top 7. I would say if this team transforms and we reach top 7, it's a good season considering where we are right now. And then maybe if by any chance we can win something, maybe some cup or Europa League or something, I don't know. This United team definitely is capable of qualifying for the next round for Europa League, but winning the league, maybe not so much. There are some good teams in Europa League. It's not going to be easy. And those teams are performing well. Us, not so much. We will have a new coach. We don't know when. Maybe tomorrow, maybe before the game with Chelsea, maybe during the winter window. I don't know. But there's a lot of question marks. How well the team will transform now that Ruud van Nistelrooy is going to be the interim manager. I don't know. Because in the end, the players are same. The quality of players is the same. The quality of players is not going to change. Maybe some of the players who do have quality, maybe Casemiro, Martinez, these are the players who have quality. Delete, Mazraoui, they have quality. But their quality is on and off. Sometimes they're performing, sometimes they're not. Sometimes one player is performing and the half of the other team is not. So maybe we can somehow get consistency. I don't know. There's a lot of question marks. But the only reason why I wanted to make this video is because I wanted to share my thoughts that, like this is how far we have fallen in terms of the quality of the squad. Because in the previous managers, regardless of, we reached like maybe at 1.89 even, but you knew that, like the moment the squad clicks, we can straight away come up to third or fourth. And before Ten Hag, we didn't go below 7th, I think, or maybe 8th or 9th. But I don't think we went below 7. So that's the thing. When you are 7th, it is easy to go to a 4th or 3rd even. But when you are sitting on 14th and we are close to winter window now, that's half a season gone. After that, and now we are changing the manager. We don't know how it will happen, how the new manager will cope as well, how the players will cope to the new management, maybe a new style, maybe a new formation. Because the way I'm reading about the Sporting Lisbon manager, the way he plays is 3-5-2-1, if I'm not mistaken. So how will our squad cope with that? We don't have a left wing back. We don't have a left back. So who's going to play on the left wing back? Because that in this formation, wingers need a lot of stamina. On the right, okay, Dalo can move forward and back. He has good stamina. He has good pace. You can have Mazraoui as a right center back, and then you can have 2 center backs in the back. But what about the left? This has been our main issue for 2 seasons now. We don't have anybody who can cover left side, especially at the back. There's so many question marks. I mean, it's just a fruit for thought. Maybe you can share your opinions in the comments below. And let me know what you think. do you think that the team that Erik Ten Hag has left, it has some capability after spending $500 million, €500 million, to maybe if a new manager comes in, challenge for the title in the next 2-3 years, maybe? It's your opinion. So anyhow, I wish good luck to whoever becomes our new manager, and I hope things change. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day.